My friends, how are you? It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video, and we've got some really interesting stuff going on right now. You guys know just a couple days ago I did a video talking about how Trump supporters want us to be nice to them now, and I based most of that video off of the interactions that I have had recently with Donald Trump supporters. As you know, Donald Trump supporters can be some of the most vile, hateful people that we have ever seen, and I started noticing this weird shift maybe a couple weeks ago in my own comment section, where suddenly Donald Trump supporters weren't typing in all caps like lunatics. They were even starting to use punctuation, and I was proud of them. They finally got to that third grade education level, and I thought, man, these guys are really going to do something for themselves one day. Good for them. But the whole attitude towards me was changing in my own comment section, where now they were acting like rational, reasonable people to a point. I don't want to give them too much credit, but they were actually somewhat listening to the arguments I was making and saying, but what about this? How about this? And it almost seemed like we were starting to have a little bit of a dialogue. And then they started asking me to be more polite when discussing Donald Trump. I don't know why Donald Trump is a fascist, but that's what they were asking. And they said, can you at least try to look on the bright side sometimes and see that Donald Trump really does do some good in the world, which I strongly disagree with that assessment. Well, my friends, I must have been onto something, because right now we are seeing in the news, we are seeing other big YouTubers talk about it, and what we are witnessing is absolute temper tantrums from the Maga movement, because the mean old liberals won't be nice to them anymore. And I think that is a pretty damn interesting thing that we are seeing. See, we, for the most part, have all been basically under assault by the Maga movement for at least the last 10 years. We were all just minding our business, trying to live our lives, and we watched as our family members and our friends, people that we used to talk with and tell jokes with and grab a beer with, all of a sudden turned into the meanest, fucking most hateful people we had ever seen in our lives. I don't know about your guys' personal situations, but I think that it's a pretty a normal recurring theme in this entire thing is we have lost family and friends over this entire situation. And it's not because we're the dicks in this situation. It was always because MAGA just is a hate group. That's all there is to it, right? And I remember watching it years ago myself going, what in the fuck just happened? Now what used to be minor disagreements in my own family is full on fucking like Facebook fights. You ever seen that? I don't use that shit anymore, but you ever seen that when like a family member posts something and it's political, and then another family member jumps in, and next thing you know, the whole family's going back and forth, airing out everybody's dirty laundry and pulling skeletons out of the closet and all kinds of shit, all because you said, you know what I think we probably shouldn't do is like beat black people to death in the streets. I think we should probably stop doing that. And then like they lost their ever-loving fucking minds over it. It was always more fun to be a bystander and watch a Facebook fight break out than to be involved in one. And me personally, I don't know what it is, my friends, but before there was even a MAGA movement, I have consistently been the target of the anger of the hillbillies. I don't know what it is about me. You tell me in the comments, because I don't fucking know. I mean, I have some theories, but I have constantly, my entire life, been a target of the angry fucking hillbillies. I don't know why. I have no fucking clue why that is, but I really push their fucking buttons, my friends. But we all found ourselves just under assault all the fucking time. And I said in the video where I covered this before, is I think honestly that a lot of us were just caught off guard by it 10 fucking years ago, and we went, what the hell just happened to my family member? And thanks to the internet, I think we are all realizing that it wasn't us. It wasn't like a one-off situation. There are so many stories all over this country of MAGA, the MAGA movement, just ripping fucking families and friend groups apart just like that, because Donald Trump don't give a shit about you as a person. He gives a shit about his power. And Donald Trump gains his power from like stoking hate, from just making people hateful motherfuckers towards other people. It's an incredibly divisive political movement, right? And now it's interesting because the tables have kind of fucking turned. We're all really sick of it, I think. I don't know. Maybe some of you are still really into it. I don't know. If that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not going to kink shame you. If you like being yelled at by MAGA people and it turns you on, more power to you. It's just not my thing anymore. It's not what I'm into anymore. And I kind of reached that point in my life too, where I just got sick to death of being the target of like some fucking bully that what the fuck is going on. And that's part of how I ended up on this channel. I said it's time to stand up for myself. What am I going to do? Spend the next 40 years being told by some hillbilly he's going to stomp a mud hole in my ass if I don't agree with every fucking thing he says? At this point, he's going to have to take action. He's going to have to kick the shit out of me because I'm done. I'm fucking over all of that shit, right? And we're seeing this incredible shift where the entire MAGA movement is openly doing what they've been doing for a lot of years, and that is playing the victim. The entire MAGA movement is this huge victim complex. The MAGA movement, how would I sum it up? It is underachieving, lazy, entitled brats. That's what the fucking MAGA movement is. And they, you know, they always get on my ass about that. Shut up, I get up every day and I go to work. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fucking like intellectual laziness that goes on in the MAGA movement, how they're unwilling to, you know, fight against the right people, right? It is the billionaires that are fucking us over in this country. That's who is the problem. But instead of directing their anger towards the person that is fucking them over, they agree with Donald Trump and the other billionaires, and they attack groups of people that are having a hard time as it is in America. And they, you know, when you still got people in the year of our Lord 2025 talking about how the Mexicans stole their job, that's an intellectually lazy fucking person. Like, you've got to be out of your fucking mind at this point to really expect people to go along with that bullshit argument. You know, so instead of going, that billionaire over there, Donald Trump, that billionaire over there, Elon Musk, and whatever billionaire you want to name is completely fucking me over. These beta boys bend over, lick the boots of the billionaires, and then turn around and attack people that need food, that are too damn broke to buy food in this fucking country, and they make them the villains. Because the way the MAGA movement works is if you can hold someone down so that they're not doing better than you, then you get to feel better about yourself. That's where the laziness part comes in. You never have to try harder. You never have to fucking dream bigger. And I understand this country is stacked against us, the working class, but you can still put in a fucking little bit of effort. But instead of doing that, you can run some other poor bastard into the ground and you just get to feel better while nothing happened, except you took out your anger on the wrong fucking person. That's what actually happened. And like I said, we're watching this spread into a much more mainstream sort of thing as the outward whining from the MAGA movement is getting louder and louder by the fucking day. Real quick, I wanted to bring something up. This isn't an ad. Every time I interrupt myself to say real quick, I want to bring something up, it sounds like I'm trying to sell you something, but I'm not. I promise you. I had a viewer that comes to the channel every day, and he tells me if I say goddamn one more time, he is done with my ass. And he comes to the videos every day to tell me that, and I kind of sometimes make fun of him in the comments. I'm like, you told me that yesterday, bro. Like, I'm gonna keep saying the words that I say, but today he has told me that he is done with my bullshit for good. He heard me say goddamn in the last video, and he has unsubscribed, and that will be the death of my channel. I am not a greedy person, my friends. We've already cleared 100,000 subscribers. But as you can see, this is life and death for my channel because that guy has left. So if I could just get one of you, just one, to push the subscribe button to offset that guy, I get in trouble at least once a week for saying goddamn in my videos. So back to the fucking point. The reason that I'm saying that this is going mainstream now, I am here today to kind of not come to the aid or anything like that, but to show solidarity with a much bigger content creator than me, who does not need my help defending himself whatsoever and has a much bigger audience than I do, and he can handle his own, my friends. And that content creator is Kolinsky, who recently found himself under fucking attack from the right for memes that he was just resharing or retweeting or whatever. I don't know if he was on X or whatever it was. And you could not believe the amount of right-wing lunatics that absolutely lost their shit over what Kyle was posting. And one of the things he had posted was a Halloween costume of Erica Kirk. Is that her name? Erica? I don't give a fuck what her name is, but I think it's Erica. But it was a fake Halloween costume that was called something like fake grieving grifting wife or something like that, where she's, you know, wearing her skin tight leather pants. She's got fake tears. Those are part of the costume. Her money is running all over the place because she's making all this money off of Charlie Kirk's death, right? And boy, did that ever set the fucking MAGA movement off. Tears were a-flowing, my friends, and they weren't the fake ones. In this particular case, they were very, very fucking real. See, the MAGA movement has this expectation, apparently, that we have to talk about Charlie Kirk in some sort of positive light. Now, while I didn't make a video celebrating his death like I was accused of on many occasions by complete dumb fucks that don't know what the word celebrating means, I guess, I don't really fucking know. I'm tired of explaining words to these fucking toddlers, my friends. The only person responsible for the hateful rhetoric that Charlie Kirk spread in this country is Charlie Kirk and potentially his enablers, right? So it is one thing to say, hey, that man shouldn't have been shot for his political views. Now, we could argue that his political views were violent in nature, demonizing other people, all of those things, right? But it is another thing to say that you're celebrating it, right? It's one thing to say that you don't necessarily condone that violence, but also the guy was a shithead. All of these things are fucking possible. There's other possibilities you could say too, but I'm not trying to push my luck with the YouTube gods. What I'm saying is that me personally, I acknowledge that he was a shithead, but I didn't make a video celebrating him getting shot. And that is basically what a lot of fucking people did. The general consensus amongst the left was, yeah, guy was a dick. I probably wouldn't have shot him, but he was a real asshole, that one, right? And apparently we're not allowed to say that. We are only allowed in this country of free speech to praise Charlie Kirk and talk about what a great and amazing man he was. But since the left isn't packed full of fucking liars, we don't have a whole lot of options here now, do we? But to tell the truth about what is going on. And this caused fucking outrage, just absolute outrage, that he had shared that meme, to the point that a United States Senator got involved, my friends. And that United States Senator that got involved is named Mike Lee. And Mike Lee had a fucking tantrum about Kyle posting this meme, talking all kinds of shit, being all pissed off, to which Kyle Kolinsky was able to respond with a meme that Mike Lee posted, celebrating, you'll have to forgive me, I just looked her name up before I got on here, and I forgot. I'm really bad at this. I should write notes, I understand. But it was the state representative in, I believe, Minnesota that was killed. Mike Lee had posted a picture of her killer, and he was like wearing a mask or something, and he put like Nightmare on Walt Street, which I guess was the street she lived on. Mike Lee, not that long ago, was celebrating the death of an elected representative in the United States because they were political opponents. And he celebrated that shit. That's what he did. But what they want to do is hold us to a higher standard than they hold themselves. Do you know why? Because for the last at least 10 years, we have been holding ourselves to a higher standard the entire time. I talked about it a little bit in the last video, the whole Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. That backfired in our faces. And I like Michelle Obama. I don't have issue with her. I think in that particular instance, she might have underestimated how shitty the MAGA movement was, or was, because they're getting soft on us now, my friends. And the point I'm trying to make with this video, it wasn't just this Mike Lee, it was publications, articles, all kinds of things about this demonic Kyle Kolinsky tweeting out a fucking meme, for God's sakes. Chill the fuck out, you babies. And saying that the left, I can't believe the left just acts like this. And like I said, I'm here to kind of show like solidarity and support to a channel that doesn't know I exist, that does not need my support even a little bit. But I think it's important sometimes to find this unifying message and say, yeah, enough is a fuck enough. Kyle made some excellent points where he said this is the political climate that MAGA wanted. Remember all these years of fuck your feelings? Remember all these years of fucking calling us crybabies and soy boys and celebrating the death of politicians on our side and getting people fired from their jobs because they were a different gender or a different race and calling them DEI hires? Remember starving all the children that they're currently trying to do? I hope you haven't forgotten about that. Remember right now how they're trying to increase the ever-loving fuck out of healthcare premiums to benefit the billionaires? All the evil shit that the MAGA movement is doing. And now they want to look at us when we get a little bit fired up and we say something shitty. Because was that a shitty thing on that meme? Sure, absolutely. Did they deserve it? Probably that too. Probably absolutely that too. And when he made the point that this is the political climate that MAGA wanted, he is 100% right. I don't think they realized they wanted it. See, the MAGA movement is, like I said, a weak, entitled, lazy brats that wanted to be the bullies of America, wanted to bully everyone around and tell us what the fuck we were going to do. And I think we've reached a point in America where we've all just fucking had it. How many times do I gotta say this? We're sick of it. Stop with the bullshit. But what's amazing about it is the amount of fucking whining that is coming out of the MAGA movement now, that the Democrats and the liberals are just being so mean to them, and they cannot believe that we would act like that. AOC just called out that dumb bitch, what's her name, Riley Gaines? I think it's Riley Gaines. I hope I got that name wrong. I'm always careful with names because I don't want to call out the wrong person by mistake. But it was that dumb bitch swimmer that is angry at transgender people because she makes the claim that a transgender person ruined her swimming career. And what actually happened was she tied for 5th. The fuck are you talking about? You weren't even close to winning that fucking race. It didn't matter who was in that pool with you. You didn't have it. You weren't there. So now this lady runs around the media talking about how transgenders are the problem with no accountability, no personal responsibility. Why didn't you train harder to beat the 4 other people that beat you? Why didn't you work harder for your goal? Oh, you're MAGA, so you think you get it just because you showed up. Participation trophies all around for the fucking MAGA movement, right? And then AOC blasted the living shit out of her and told her maybe because she was talking shit about AOC said something to the effect of maybe if you would have worked on swimming faster, you know, or put all this energy into swimming faster, you would have won the fucking race that you spend all of your life grifting about, all of your life bitching and whining about. Maybe you should have just fucking tried harder. And the point of this apparently series of videos that I'm doing on the MAGA meltdowns is they are really fucking whining and crying and bitching about everything that is going on in this country, about the sheer amount of people now that have had it. Look, it's time to put up or shut up. You said you were going to do all these things to us if we got out of line. We were all going to get our asses kicked if we stood up to you. And none of that's fucking happening. We're exposing exactly how soft this fucking MAGA movement is. And it's soft. The feelings, the emotions are through the fucking roof with these babies. I tell you that right now. And I think we are actually hopefully watching a dying regime right now, and I don't mean dying as in like death. You gotta please the YouTube gods sometimes, right? What I mean is the MAGA movement is losing power substantially, and it is happening very quickly. Now I'm excited to watch these elections unfold today and see what happens. Hoping like hell California saves our asses on this one. That'll be a big deal if California passes that. But I think we are going to see a lot of things just today in these elections that are going on that is going to send a very powerful message to Donald Trump, all of the MAGA Republicans in office, and all of the MAGA dorks running all over the country that we are fucking sick of all the bullshit. And I believe as this goes on, as MAGA gets weaker and weaker, it's going to continue to get louder and louder. It's going to make more threats. It may even act out in more violent attacks like they are prone to doing. But what I'm starting to see, my friends, I know here's me being optimistic again, I'm starting to see us really push back in very, very fucking meaningful ways in this country. And the MAGA movement does not like being treated the way that they've treated other people. And to that, I say fuck them. They didn't let up when we asked them to. They wouldn't give us just a little bit of time to fucking breathe and try to get our thoughts together. It's been this smothering presence in our lives for at least the last 10 years, and they can go fuck themselves. And with that said, I gotta get back to work. Love you guys. Bye now.